It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is Ron Keel with My Bad. And it's my bad I didn't get that bill paid the way it was supposed to be. So I just paid it, but unfortunately I can't call out until I can switch that thing back over.
You can't switch it over?
No, not until the payment registers.
Oh, so I need to call Ron?
Well, I guess. I mean, yeah, you're going to have to do it on your end.
All right. Let's see if I can't figure this out. Let's see here. We can go to, no, not there. Add this. And I'm going to find my phone. Here's my phone. Let's see. Am I still on the air?
Yeah, you're still on the air.
All right. Hold, please. Let's see his phone number. Fuck me. Are you kidding me? I hate this fucking phone.
What, the new one you got?
Yes.
Well, it's been months since you got it, and you told me that within a few weeks it would be just fine.
I hate this fucking phone. It is the worst ever. See here. I'm going to have to copy it from here because I can't even get to it. This fucking junk, fucking faggot ass Android. Hate it. All right, I'm going to try and call Ron real quick. Can I do this?
Can you call him on the Skype in?
Let me see here. Let's get to the keypad. There's got to be a way to keypad, isn't there? Shit.
We're technically savvy.
Here we go. There's the keypad. Let's do this. Paste.
Well, Chris is doing that. I guess I'll just entertain you. We just weren't prepared.
Are you there, Neely?
I am here.
Are you there, Ron?
I am.
Oh, there he is. The one and only Ron Keel. Look at Chris, the technical wizard over there.
Wow. I'm impressed.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again, guys. How you guys doing tonight?
We're good. You're always welcome, Ron. You don't have to thank us. We're just one of the boys.
Yes, you are. I appreciate it, man. Always a thrill and a lot of fun hanging with you guys on the air.
Yeah, I saw your bandmate, Mark Ferrari, last week.
At NAMM?
He was at NAMM. He said one of the funniest things that he just made me laugh. Because I was hanging out with Bob Nalbandian, and he was in the Mark was in the guitar booth over there, and I went over there to shake hands with him. He goes, "Nope, Knuckles guys. I don't want to catch any of the Namthrax."
Oh no, Namthrax! Yes, and now we have to worry about the coronavirus.
Exactly.
I don't mind corona myself. I'm good. You know, if they could make a fireball virus, I'd take some of that too.
Well, Chris would definitely join you for that. He's a fireball fiend.
I love the fireball.
Right on.
Well,
I like it too. I don't drink it in sync, but it has an adverse effect on my voice. But there's other options.
Yeah. Well, I'm big on doing shots of fireball while chasing with Jack Daniels. That's my drinking choice. Nice. Well, Ron, the reason I asked you to come on the show, not that there's ever really needs to be a reason, but I just got barraged in the last week of Ron Keel band doing this, Ron Keel band doing that, Ron Keel band doing this, Ron Keel band signing with new label. So I figured instead of us trying to cover it, it made more sense to have you come on and share everything that is going on in, Keelaholic Central.
I appreciate the opportunity to come on the Classic Metal Show and share the news with you guys. A lot of people have heard some of that stuff that you just mentioned. Ron Keel Band signed a new recording contract, a multi-album deal with Highball Music. And Bill Chavis, who has been a friend of mine for 20 years, we've been friends. We've watched each other evolve and kind of reinvent ourselves over the past couple of decades. And we've talked about working together, and the time was right. I think it's a perfect fit for Ron Keel Band. And the first album on the new label is going to be released April 24th, and it's a collection of killer Southern rock classic covers. These iconic songs, one from each of those Southern rock greats, like Marshall Tucker Band, Allman Brothers, Skinner, Blackfoot, Outlaws, and some surprises mixed in there along the way. And, of course, we've got the Australian tour and the Monsters of Rock cruise and the Canadian tour. You know, guys, if you had told me in 1985 when The Right to Rock came out that, hey, Ron, 35 years from now, you'll be doing your first ever tours of Canada and Australia, I would have thought you were crazy. I can't believe it took this long, but I'm just glad we're getting to go and perform in those places where I've never been. I mean, Keel never even toured in Canada. We did one show in Toronto in 85. That was it. So lots of exciting concerts on the calendar, starting with the Monsters of Rock cruise here in just a couple of weeks.
Well, Ron, Chris and I were just talking before you came on the show here, and this week I had the opportunity of interviewing Lips Kudlow from the band Anvil, and they've been around, since the late 70s. They started out, and they've been hanging in there for 40 plus years, and he's telling me, much like yourself, this is like the pinnacle of his career as far as being busy. He just like, I can rely on my career as a musician to pay my bills. I don't have to work an outside job now. I have enough touring. I have enough merchandise. I have enough interest in the band now to where, we're touring, 6-7 months out of the year and selling merchandise and things, and it pays our living. And he said, 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't like that. So I kind of, see where that's going. So for you, you're a workaholic anyway, but, the fact that you're having this much success and having the opportunity to, tour different parts of the world, all I got to say is that my hat's off to you, pal, for sticking it out for so long.
Thank you, man. And that's the key. That really is the key, Neely, is sticking it out. Life is like baseball, only it's a lot easier because you get more than 3 strikes. Literally, as long as you keep stepping up to the plate and swinging, every now and then, you got a chance of hitting one out of the park. And I think there are some similar parallels with Lips and Anvil and that story. Of course, they had that great movie and book to reinvent their career and give them a second lease on life. But they stuck to their guns, too, and they've kept at it and never stopped. And I think that's part of the key to the success. Some of it's luck, some of it's timing, some of it's talent. But I've got a phrase that my mom passed on to me way back when in the early 80s. And it says, and it's still written in my notebook, one of my songbooks that I carry with me everywhere. It says, if it is to be, then it is up to me. So I've always been bound and determined to make things happen. I don't like to sit around waiting for other people to pull the trigger. I like to make stuff happen, and you just keep trying to find ways to move the ball down the field. And of course, these sports analogies, I'm full of them. I'm a huge sports fan, and I take some of my band leading and business philosophies from some of the great coaches of all time, and how they lead men, how they construct the game plan, how they put together all the right pieces to at least have a shot at some type of success or longevity. And a lot of it is luck, but so much has happened, though, just the last 10 years since the Keel reunion launched in 2010 and 2009. And that certainly brought me back into the public eye with some of these big festivals like Rocklahoma. And now this is my 8th time on the Monsters of Rock cruise, which is just a huge high-profile event and an opportunity for us to show the fans what we do and who we are, both on stage and off stage. And I'm one of those guys, man. I don't have any time off. Once I set foot on that boat, man, I am there for the fans. I like to hang at the bar. I like to do the meet and greets and the drink and greets and the eat and greets. Any type of greets, man, I'm in. And I like to partake of all of the extracurricular activities like rock star swimming with sharks or whatever they've got going on, man. I'm going to sign up for it. I've got not only the Keel shows this year, but I've got a solo show as well on board. And I'll be joined during my solo show by a couple of guys from the Ron Keel band for some of the songs off our last album, Fight Like a Band. So I'm really excited about that. But Mark Ferrari's doing triple duty. This guy, he's doing Keel. He's got this Cold Sweat reunion, which was a great record, and the guys are back together for the first time since that album release to perform at the pre-party and on board. And plus Ferrari's doing the Cold Chin Kiss tribute thing. And so between, Mark and I and the guys in Keel and the guys in Ron Keel Band, they might want to rethink the title of this thing and call it the Monsters of Keel Cruise.
Nice. Well, Ron, for the Ron Keel Band itself, are you surprised at how it has turned into a full-time touring project? Because obviously when you started it, it was to, at least it seemed like it was to be the house band with Badlands Pawn, and obviously that went the way that went. But, a lot of people, I think, probably expected that you would have disbanded and gone back to Vegas to live, and instead you didn't do that. You went the other way and pushed harder with Ron Keel Band and turned it into a full-time thing and started taking it further and further out and further on the road.
Well, it was always a full-time job from the day. And these 5 guys, we've been together. Nobody's quit. Nobody's gotten fired. Everybody's stuck together. And no pun intended, we have fought like a band.
Right.
And when the Badlands House Band was no longer a viable, obviously that business that we were hired to represent folded and closed their doors. And we certainly could have followed suit. And some guys would have, a lot of bands would have. But I looked around, and the guys in the band all feel the same way. At this stage of the game, none of us are getting any younger, and Father Time is undefeated. I make no bones about it. I'm on a one-day contract. And again, tomorrow's not guaranteed for any of us. But we all realized how special the bond between us was and how strong the show was. How we could go on stage in front of an arena full of people who had no idea who we were, or even most of them didn't even have any idea who Ron Keel was. And we could win that audience over, and by the end of the show, they're in the palm of my hand. The band is musically and personally, the guys as human beings, and with the strength of character and the friendship that we have. We're always just texting jokes back and forth to each other, just talking all the time, and just really enjoy each other's company, really like each other. And that's really rare in this business, man. Once you've got it and you find it, you hold on to it for all it's worth, and you don't let go unless it's going to drag me kicking and screaming away from this. And I realized that this is by far the last best shot for any of us at this stage of the game, at this age. I'm pushing 60. And, who knows? I hope that I can have a career like Sammy Hagar, who's still out there crushing it, man. And, that's a dream come true for me. I still feel like the best is yet to come, and that I've got a lot to offer, both on stage and in the studio, and as a songwriter, as a singer, a performer, a radio show host, and whatever else I choose to do. It all comes down to entertaining people. That's what it's all about, telling stories and entertaining people. And this band could have certainly folded our tent and went our separate ways. And I'm kind of surprised that once the job was done and nobody was getting paid, and we had the whole rug yanked out from underneath us, and you guys saw what kind of infrastructure we had with the tour bus, the crew, and the money, and the promotion, and the hype, and everything. And all of a sudden, we're on our own. What are we going to call it? We got to change the name of the band. And of course, I chose the Ron Keel Band, and the guys have had my back every step of the way. And then, of course, you guys know the story. Within weeks of that happening, my wife Renee was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, and all of a sudden, I couldn't tour that year. 2017 was like, I could do a few shows close to home. That was about it. And the guys hung in there with me. And to have that kind of loyalty and dedication, and not to mention the quality of music that we make together, really special, man. And it's worth holding on to, and it's worth fighting for.
Sure. Now, Ron, you mentioned, Renee's battle with the cancer, and I just wanted to briefly, and we don't have to get way into it, but I wanted to talk a little bit about Renee's book, because it's Renee's book primarily, but you wrote quite a bit of it as well. It's book number 5 in my life that I've actually read from start to finish, and
wow,
what a great book, man. for anybody that's ever gone through anything, it's weird because even though it's dealing with cancer, it doesn't have to be cancer. It's really one of those stories of anybody that's ever gone through anything can learn not only from Renee's story, but from a lot of your stories that you interjected in between each chapter of her, kind of sharing how you were trying to balance exactly what you were just saying, being a musician with your primary obligation, which was taking care of her.
Well, we realized, and thank you for mentioning that, and the book is available at ReneeKeel.com. It's also in the store at my website, RonKeel.com. It's called Anything But Pink on Becoming a Cancer Survivor. And, as she was revisiting her blog posts, the book started out as a blog. She would come home as literally therapeutic way of dealing with it and compartmentalizing what she was going through with what ended up being, 8 surgeries, I think I lost count. 9 surgeries, chemo, the radiation treatments where she was literally blistered, skin's falling off because of the blistered, burnt skin and all this, and she'd be in misery, and they're slicing her open. Oh no, we have an infection, we got to slice you open again. Oh, we didn't get all the cancer, we got to go back in. And she's just like, oh, cool, all right. I said, honey, you're going to have to. You can't just make it seem like everything was a breeze, because people are going to read this and think, oh, well, cancer, no big deal. It really was a big deal. It was really scary, Chris. You've been through it with your son.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a life changer and a game changer. And going back, I did not write my portions of the book as it was happening. I had to go back and relive it over and over again, chapter by chapter, and look back on my calendars and our logs and our journals and a lot of social media posts. What were we doing on April 24th, 2017?
Right.
And I kind of had to relive it, and that was even writing about it was painful for me. But I also got to share some of the moments that really affected me from a businessman, a band leader standpoint, as we continued to fight and put the band together. And that's where the album came from. I mean, I told the guys, look, I can't tour this year, but you guys can stop and get some beer and come on over, and we'll go down to the basement and write some tunes. And that's where songs like Fight Like a Band that came out. And it's a real, honest, gritty album because of the real, honest, gritty story that Renee was selling. And it's really one big reason, guys. And I'm not blowing smoke because she's sitting here in the living room. As I'm pacing in the dining room, I've got my special spot here in the dining room where I do all my big interviews.
Right.
This is where I talk to the Classic Metal Show and Eddie Trunk or any of the big time guys. They get the Ron Keel pacing in the dining room because I always do my best interviews right here on this one piece of tile. But anyway, she's the reason I'm here. She's the reason for the reinventing myself and continuing to strive to succeed. And you got this from the book, Chris. Mm-hmm. She's so positive. She forces me to work hard, be positive, and continue to attempt some level of success, because if I don't do that, I'm not utilizing my full potential, and I'm not the man she married. So she's a big reason. Without her, I would definitely be in the middle of the desert somewhere with a guitar and a shotgun and a bottle of whiskey and my pickup truck. And, because of her, I'm still in the game and still having some measure of success. So I give her full credit for that.
Right. Well, and the thing is, and I've said this to you and I've said it to Neely. I don't know if I've told it on the air or not, but I will. When my son was first diagnosed with cancer, I went on I lost my shit, as everybody does. And I was like, fuck God, fuck you, fuck everybody. I
remember that. I saw it. I heard it. I remember you. I remember. Yeah.
And Renee was the one, and she was going through it herself. Renee was the one that cornered me and was like, what are you doing? And she literally messed. And to be honest, at that point, I didn't know Renee at all, but she literally hit me up and was like, what are you doing? You're not helping anybody. Get your shit together. How do you, and I remember what it was specifically. I was venting, and I was saying something about how food was going to taste different, and my son wasn't going to be able to eat because food was going to taste. I was just venting about some nonsense.
Yeah.
doctors had told me. And she literally typed in a message to me. She's like, how do you know what it's going to taste like? Shut up and stop making stuff up. And she really did she, you know, and I've told her this, so it's not like it's a secret, but she really helped me put my own head back on. And it was right after that point that I was like, okay, I can't be acting like an ass. I got to be very responsible and very tough to help my kid through this stuff. So, you know, she's tough, man. And I'll tell you,
she is.
You read the book, and the book shows the toughness, but it shows it without being tough. You know, and I know that's a terrible analogy, but you can tell how tough she is, but it doesn't read like, then I got this fucking another, you know, it's not like that. It's very, I don't know, thought out and well spoken. It's much better than I could do.
Well, that's our girl. Thanks for mentioning that. And that once again, I want to recommend the book to anybody. Cancer's touched so many lives of our friends, families, loved ones, people that we know well, or people that we hardly know at all, and friends of friends. And cancer is, we feel the same way about it. And the book is it is an uplifting, positive spin on. It's a survivor story, and I do believe that there's something in that book for everybody. So check it out at ReneeKeel.com, ReneeKeel.com.
Perfect, Ron. Well, Ron, getting back to the fact that you're busy, you and I'm going to have you talk a little bit about this upcoming touring opportunity that you have, but I just wanted to mention something. You brought up Sammy Hagar a few minutes ago, and his counterpart, David Lee Roth. He's doing a Vegas residency for about 10 dates, and then he's going to go out and open up for Kiss on this, end of the world tour. And of course, you have your experiences with Gene Simmons of Kiss. Have you seen any of the performances by David Lee Roth, and do you have any thoughts on it?
Who hasn't seen it?
Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I have. You know what I did? I'm trying to give my take on it. I guess it's a double-edged sword, because I do see it from both angles. First of all, the guy's an icon, and at one point he was the greatest frontman who ever lived. That's there's hands down. When I saw early Van Halen back in the late 70s and early 80s, during the original run from 79 through 84, David was at the top of his game, and his game was better than anybody else's game. So, and that's something you can never take away. I mean, it's like multiple Super Bowl victories. He is a champion in every sense of the word. So, as far as I'm concerned, he has earned the right to go out there and continue to do what he loves to do and entertain people. He's a born showman. That being said, from a fan's standpoint, I get it. I do understand that Dave has never been one of the most accurate singers in the business in terms of his tone, pitch, delivery, remembering the lyrics, stuff like that. I get it. However, it just feels to me, I personally would like to see the singer making a little more of an attempt to at least maintain some of the phrasing and get the lyrics right. You don't have to hit all the high notes, but the audience is out there. These songs are the soundtrack of our lives, and Dave's not the only one who does it. There's singers of every genre and every vocal level of ability that will go out there and they'll try and reinvent their melodies and do stuff that's on the record, and they'll just kind of, their phrasing's a little off or whatever because it's, quote, their style, or it's the live version or whatever. I do believe I personally would like to see a little more accuracy in terms of the pitch, the phrasing, the timing, and those notes aren't all that hard to hit. I don't think I would enjoy that concert experience myself, but all that really is that Dave's enjoying it. And if you paid for a ticket, I've seen mixture of fans who are just glad to see him because, none of us, like I said, Father Time is undefeated. See him while you can, and no, he's not who he used to be. None of us are. But I would prefer a little less. I did see this one clip where he was talking for it's like 10 minutes, some kind of just rambling
about the dance.
It didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I don't know. It might have been one of the things you shared, Chris, on social media. He's just rambling for 10 minutes talking about something that nobody's going to understand.
Right.
I don't get that, but man, who am I to criticize? He's Diamond Dave. So I guess that's my take in a nutshell. I'm not digging it, but I support his right to dig it.
Sure.
Is it insulting? And I say that to you specifically. Is it insulting knowing how hard you have to work to be to stay as close to the top of your game as you do, to see somebody like that? And not just Dave. I don't want to just hammer on Dave, but there's quite a few guys that are in that age frame that do not put in the effort to try to give the fans the best show. And that's what drives me the most crazy is the fans. Roth is an example. Roth is charging top dollar for a ticket, and he's not trying his hardest. And that almost makes everybody else in his genre have to work that much harder because people are going to those shows and getting burned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, man. It does, and I get it. I don't understand it, and to me, it looks like he's not 100% comfortable. Maybe he's not even 50% comfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. And it looks like he's not comfortable, and I'm not sure. I don't know him. I've met him a couple of times way back in the day.
Right.
But to me, he always exuded the utmost in cockiness and confidence. And to me, it doesn't look like he's in full control. And, yeah, that takes discipline, effort. You've got to really want to sound good. You've got to maybe, I don't know, man. I'm hoping that my next gig is the best gig I've ever done, and that's all I can control. I'm a huge Diamond Dave fan. I'm a huge Sammy Hagar fan. Sammy's still out there nailing it.
Yeah.
He's 72 now.
Yeah.
Sammy, he's my all-time favorite frontman, and he was my all-time favorite frontman back in the 80s, and he's still delivering the goods on such a high level. Steven Tyler's another one. Whether the recent controversy with the Joey Kramer and all that, just to disregard that, Steven Tyler's certainly one of those iconic frontmen who is still delivering at a very high level at a very advanced stage.
Absolutely, man. Well, Ron, let's talk a little bit about your touring, because at this stage in the game, for you to get the opportunity to go to Australia, that's like a big deal, man.
The Australian tour is absolutely a dream come true, and I can't thank Peter Hoffman, the director of the event, Andrew McNeese from Melodic Rock, who's been instrumental in this genre and in that brand for so long now, and Jules Millis, the lead singer from White Widow, who's a friend of mine. I met this kid. He was in the front row when we played Rocklahoma in 2009, and I met him there, and he says, I got to get you to Australia, mate. I got a band over there. He hands me a CD of his band, White Widow, and sure enough, he came through, man. He kept pushing these people. You got to get Ron Keel over here. You got to get Ron. And this is the biggest melodic rock festival, or the biggest event of its kind ever in Australia, and a bunch of tour dates before and after for all of the artists that are involved. Myself, Tony Harnell, Kip Winger, Janet Gardner from Vixen, Enough's Enough. A lot of these great European bands. Eclipse from Sweden, what a great band.
Oh, yeah.
And just an amazing lineup. And we're going over, I've got 6 shows. I've got 4 club shows. And then I've got a VIP acoustic gig. And then I've got the big show on Melodic Rock Fest stage at the beautiful theater there in Melbourne. And it is a dream come true. I at one point thought, well, yeah, we'll go there next year. And then next year became the next decade, and eventually realized, man, I'm probably never gonna see it. And not only am I gonna see it, I'm gonna do it right. And I've got a great band behind me. I'm taking DC called the Ron Keel Band as my band leader and my right-hand man on stage and on this trip. And we're using some amazing Australian background musicians. The guys in White Widow are going to back me up with Dave, and we're going to do a retrospective of music from throughout my entire career. That 1 hour show, I get 1 hour, and you guys know I can fill 3, right? We did Keel Fest last year. That was a 3-hour gig.
Right.
But I've got 1 hour to cram all of the eras and genres. I mean, we've got Ron Keel Band, Steeler, all the Keel hits, and Black Sabbath as well included in this show for the Australian tour dates. I'm super excited. They're doing it right. They're taking good care of me. And it's just a dream come true, chance of a lifetime.
Well, we were talking about kangaroo steaks a couple weeks ago there, Ron. Would you be open to having some over there if you were,
Do they eat them? Do they eat kangaroos? Really?
Apparently they do. They've our good friend Ozzy Ace, our #1 Australian guy, along with Tim James, they talked about throwing some roux on the Barbie.
I don't think I could do that, man. And I'm really big on sampling the local cuisine. When I travel around the world, I want to immerse myself in the culture. Like when I went to Japan for the first time, and I had sushi in Japan. Dude, they take a sea urchin out of the cooler. It's like swimming around. They take a sea urchin out of the cooler, plop it on a cutting board, hit it with a hammer, and then put it on a plate. That's real sushi. And I ate it. I had to eat it, or I would have offended the people at our Japanese record company. I had to go outside and puke as soon as I finished it. But I ate it. But I don't think I'm going to be sampling any kangaroo. I looked up a couple of really cool burger joints over there, and I've been trying to figure out what to do in Melbourne. Because they're really, look it up, YouTube it. Things to do in Melbourne, there's 2 things. You could go bar hopping, or you could go, or what's the other one? Drinking is about the only recreational activity. But we're going to go through the Great Ocean Road, which is this beautiful highway along the southern coast of Australia. I'm staying a few extra days. Renee's going with me. We're staying a few extra days after the tour's over with, just to have a little Australian vacation.
Very nice. You don't want any roux stew?
I do not. I don't think so, man. But if I get drunk enough, I'll eat anything. I don't know. I don't think are we going to be eating any kangaroo, honey? Or she try it.
There you go.
I'll have a bite of yours.
Well, some of our CMS fans who are hardcore CMS fans will take good care of you over there, I'm sure.
Good. I hope so. The people are so far. Everyone I've dealt with, from the event staff and the other musicians and the media, the radio people, and everybody I've been dealing with over there, really, really super nice people. And it's a strong show, man. There's some great singers on this bill. I mean, Paul Lane, who did that long stint with Danger, who's still just an amazing vocalist. The guy from Eclipse, what's his name? Eric Martinson.
Yeah,
this guy's amazing. These singers, there's a lot of really good voices on that stage. So I'm not gonna bring my D game, as in Dave. I'm gonna bring my A game. So I'm just looking forward to it, man. And I should be warmed up and well seasoned by then. I'm in heavy rehearsals now for the Monsters of Rock cruise, which is literally 2 weeks from today. And I'm a firm believer in practicing, man. I go down in my rehearsal studio here at home and I scream my guts out. I go through the whole show top to bottom. I'm flailing the mic stand around, doing just what I would do in a live simulation, so to speak.
Right.
So that when I do get on stage, I'm ready.
Well, I'll tell you this, Ron. If the way Andrew McNeese treated us when we went to the Melodic Rock Fest, last year?
Almost 2 years ago.
Almost 2 years ago. Here in Chicago, if the way he treated us is half as good as he treats you guys, you'll be in good shape, because he really gave us the treatment, man. He does really, really, really good work.
Yeah, well, he's certainly been a super guy to deal with in my, even before the tour. He was always very supportive of our album releases, and just seems like a really sweet guy. I can't wait to meet him in person.
Yeah, he's good people, man. And one more tour that you have, Canada? You're going to Canada?
Canada. And This is amazing how these guys do it up there, man. And I know Canada's a big country. We're doing 3 cities in eastern Canada, and of course I've got the entire western part of the nation pissed off at me because why aren't you coming to Edmonton or wherever? But the 3 shows that we've got are Quebec City, Ottawa, and Toronto.
All right.
And just to the way these guys have coordinated the tour together, the venues and the promoters all working together to make sure that the details are taken care of, and it was the most easy, painless process. If we could get the clubs in Texas to do that, I'd be in Texas. Yeah, we'd have Dallas, we'd have Houston, we'd have Galveston, and Texas would be done. But no, the promoters in the U.S. don't have a clue when it comes to, and that's why we're doing Australia. And we're doing Canada because they wanted the product, they wanted the act, they wanted me, and they're doing it right. They're doing everything the way it should be done. And of course, whenever you announce tour dates, it's a double-edged sword for me because you want to talk about your gigs. You go on social media and you're, hey man, we're going to Canada, we're going to Australia, and then you get 50 people bitching because you're not coming to their town. And there are almost 5,000 cities on the planet with 100,000 people or more. And I don't know that we can hit all of them. It's really tough. And getting a U.S. tour, it's an uphill battle, dude. I can tell you, we do fight. We fight hard. We fight like a band because getting the credibility for Ron Keel Band is still... People don't exactly understand it, and a lot of people don't know what it is that I'm delivering. Even though I've got 2 guys from Keel in the band, me and Gino Arce, who's been in Keel for over 10 years. I've got the Keel logo as part of my brand. We've got all the Keel songs in our show, even the album cuts, the fan favorites, like I said, The Wrong Thing to the Right Girl and Speed Demon, not just the 5 hit singles, but we've got some of those fan favorite album cuts as part of the Ron Keel Band show. And it is a constant struggle. And now we're just trying to fill the other squares on the calendar. We've got some great U.S. gigs. We've got a couple of big festivals that we're headlining. One in just outside of Columbus, Ohio, the Ballpark Bash on August 22nd. And then there's a couple of other big dates. We're trying to get back out west. I haven't had the band in Hollywood yet. Ron Keel Band hasn't been to Vegas. I haven't played Vegas in 5 years since I moved away. I'm itching to go back and take this band wherever I can take it. Vegas, Hollywood, Texas, that's definitely got to happen. East Coast dates, I'm hoping for some really cool stuff. Of course, our label now is based in Baltimore, Highball Music. And so is one of the radio stations that's really gotten behind my radio show, Streets of Rock and Roll, 97 Underground in Baltimore. And speaking of the radio show, we haven't plugged that yet. I'm going to need some help while I'm on these tours, while I'm in Canada or Australia. I'm going to need a couple of you guys to fill in for me. You've done that in the past and done quite well. So I'm counting on you to join the Streets of Rock and Roll and sub for me once in a while this year, if that's cool.
Yeah, it's good with me.
All right. I'll count on it because I don't know how I'm going to do that. It's always cool when I come back from the events because I've got sound bites from the fans, interviews with the other artists on the bill. And the Monsters of Rock Cruise recap is going to be a great episode. Of course, I'll be broadcasting from Australia while I'm there. And but while I'm gone, I don't know what I'm going to do. I am so crazy busy. I've got all these. I've got one more big thing that I hope to be able to come back on the show and announce here in the months to come. But it's absolutely insane. Another big. It's not. I can't talk about it because it's not done yet. But it's just crazy, man. And I keep biting off more than I can chew. I do believe that. I think as we mature and get a little older, you realize that you're closer to the end than you are to the beginning. And there's so much still that I want to do, so many more songs I want to write, so many more gigs, and so many more towns, so many more experiences as an entertainer that I want to go through. And I know I'll never achieve all those goals, but I'm gonna keep dreaming big and doing the best I can to make those dreams come true.
Well, Ron, I'm breathless listening to all your activities. But, that's no secret. You've been on the show many times, and you always have something. You got, to put it in the cowboy lingo, you always have a lot of irons in the fire. So,
that's right.
So it's always good to see our friends being successful and, having something going on all the time, because that would be a sad life if you didn't know what you were going to do the next day.
Yeah, I'm just going to do whatever I can, and I'm gonna finish the day, and I'm going to finish my life with a very long, unfulfilled to-do list. I got a lot of stuff I want to do, and I certainly want to mention, if we can, the Emerald Sabbath project, which is really cool. Finally, after a year, the remastered version was released yesterday, and we've got a new music video for Die Young, which you might have seen the social media. I was out in the snow in the graveyard, filming my vocal footage for this new music video for Die Young. But to be able to cut the classic Ronnie James Dio, From Heaven and Hell, Die Young, with Rudy Sarzo on bass, Vinny Appice on drums, and DC Cawthor on lead guitar from the Ron Keel band. Really, really super proud of that Emerald Sabbath project. And it's the closest I'm ever going to get to singing with Black Sabbath, but it's pretty damn close. And I'm really happy with the results.
Perfect. All right, Ron. Well, I know you mentioned ronkeel.com and all that. So where can people find out where they can find you somewhere in the world?
That's just the one-stop shop, ronkeel.com. Of course, you guys know, you guys are more in tune with the pitfalls of social media and the dangers of trusting it too much. We all believed in MySpace back in the day, right?
Right.
But that website hasn't changed in 20 years, man. ronkeel.com. And you can go there and get on my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter. You can see all the videos. You can visit the online store, which is literally, it's a huge part of my life. And because a lot of entertainers will bitch about the money now, or they're not making any money because Spotify or whatever's taking all their cash. Well, those guys should really bust their ass, build a great online store like the one I have at ronkeel.com, and get your product from the label. You pay wholesale like any record store, and you autograph those records. You sell them to your fans. You hype. You keep pumping out the hype out there, and you can make a living. And so that's the one place you can find me online. Now, if you want the extra bump and all the extra cool shit, then you got to go to Patreon, which is what, $7 a month for total all access, which means VIP access at shows, merch discounts. You get to listen to exclusive audio, unreleased songs, anything. This year I'm releasing another new album project, of course. Wait, there's more. Releasing Alone at Last again. And in 2004, I released my solo acoustic album, Alone at Last. It was an amazing project and a very, literally one of the hardest sessions I've ever done. And I recorded it myself at my house. This year I'm doing the same thing, a sequel to the acoustic album, and I'm releasing one song per month on Patreon only. Patreon subscribers and members are the only ones that are going to get to hear this and download these tracks, one per month all year long. And then in December, when the CD comes out, there'll be 12 songs on it. Those members who have stuck with me throughout the year, they're going to get one gift wrapped, signed for free for Christmas 2020. So a lot of cool stuff going on at patreon.com/Ron Keel.
And does a set of steak knives come with that?
Man, I hadn't thought about it, but I could do a Ron Keel signature steak knife.
There you go, the right cut.
The even keel steak knife. I don't know. Don't get me started. But, well, you got to. Part of our job is sales, and people. It really bugs me when guys like Gene Simmons will make a statement, and fans will go on social media and say, "Oh, he's just doing that to get attention." Well, of course he's doing that. It's our job to get people's attention. I mean, it's what we do. We're entertainers. We're musicians. We're celebrities. We're whatever you want to call it. But if we're not getting people's attention, we're failing. So, that's what we got to do. That's why, I love coming on your show because I know you've got so many fantastic, loyal listeners all around the world and give me a great platform to where I can just spout and be myself on the show with two of my best friends, Neely and Chris. Thanks again for all your support through the years and having me a frequent guest on CMS.
Perfect. Well, Ron, as always, you're welcome back anytime, and good luck on the cruise, and good luck on the Australian tour, and good luck in general with all your activities.
I appreciate it, guys. I'll be back in a few months to announce the grand opening of the Metal Cowboy Saloon, my new venue. Oh, no, I didn't say that. Shh. We'll talk about that next time.
All right, Ron. Well, I have your latest release out there, Fight Like a Band, opened up here, and I'll let you pick a track off of that to take us out of this little get-together. So what do you think we should play?
Well, the last track on the record is called Hey Man, and it turned out to be a real fan favorite. I wasn't sure about this tune. I knew it was special for me because it's basically a phone call to an old friend, and it's got some message that I think is important. Reach out to the people you love because you don't know when you're going to lose them. And the first time I sang this song, first time I ever sang this tune, was to my best man, the guy who was best man at Renee's and my wedding. It was Big George, and he had cancer. He was 10 years younger than me. He had cancer. I sang it to him on his deathbed 5 days before he died. It was the first time I ever sang the song, and he was a big part of the reason I wrote the song. And I think some of that emotion and some of that message really comes out in this one. So if you wouldn't mind playing that one, it's kind of southern at the start, but trust me, metalheads, it gets heavy in the middle. So don't, just keep it cranked up through the entire song.
Perfect. All right, well, go check out Ron on the rock cruise as well as his Australian Canadian tours coming up here shortly, and go visit him over there at ronkeel.com and take in all the goodies. So, Ron, as always, we appreciate you taking the time. So here it is. This is from the Fight Like a Band, and this is called Hey Man, exclusively here. What, Ron?
On the Classic Metal Show. Crank it up and keep it up.